We're talking about God. What is God? It's a loaded question. And answering all your questions with live readings coming up right now.
He technically looks like a Devin or David.
David is his name. It's been so spot on.
And I don't know if you put it in the side of your end table or not. You said like there's something in your end table that you this too.
Oh my God, we're crazy.
Yeah, he's saying hi, baby girl. He's saying hi, baby girl. And is there significance with like image of a rose at all?
He would
Does that
always
make
give me a rose.
Okay, so he's like doing one now. He's saying to work with some sort of like vibrational machine, somehow a way to work with like machinery and vibration.
I work with horses, and there's actually some magnawave therapy that's vibrational.
Tell me something that he told you that came true.
Everything he's predicted has come true.
I just don't see it.
So he doesn't have cancer?
It's very possible.
Allow yourself to hear yourself. Allow yourself to feel yourself. Allow yourself to talk to yourself. Allow yourself to respond to yourself. That's looking within.
You might encounter negative aspects of self, but that's a freeing experience.
Because then they start realizing that they can't think outside the box. And I say, if you can't think outside the box, then who's the stupid one here?
There's a reason why we're on this timeline. There's a reason why we've chosen to be in this awakening. I say we're going through a spiritual awakening.
So I don't just come out here and talk bull and repeat. I'm living this stuff.
In harmony with nature, in a mystical adventure, we're building on a culture.
Happy Thursday night live, everybody. How's everyone doing today with new moon in Gemini? A little tired, actually. Been kind of, but like in a good way. Like feel good, feel peaceful, feel a little tired. I don't know how you guys are feeling. Put in the chat how you guys are feeling. But yeah, I had an interesting, very interesting nap before my live, and I kind of was dreaming that I was in my room, same time, same space, everything. And I was in the dream, I was having sleep paralysis. And I was screaming, but I couldn't scream to like wake me up in the dream. And then like it was an earthquake, but it was fine. But I was trying to get up and I couldn't. But that was in the dream, because I always had sleep paralysis in the real world. And so in that dream, I was like, wake me up, and trying to push that out. And then I woke up. The room was exactly the same as it was in the dream. So there's some energy going around right now. A lot of conflict, a lot of tension actually happening right now too. And so, but you know, these are one of those situations that if you're not in your purpose, life is going to show to you that you're not in your purpose. If you're not having patience, it's definitely going to reveal to you that you're not having patience. So take a good look at what's happening right now in this time, and it's going to be revealing a lot of those things that need to be cleaned up. As you can say that with every day, but more so about this, the Gemini splitting energy. And so I've been backed up, and so some of you guys have been sending me emails and so forth too. And I always, especially after a session, tell people to send me emails. I'm backed up on emails, so be patient on that. And if you're sending long emails or emails that require so much questions, it's going to be harder for me to get back to that. I can't really answer so much questions in emails, so just want to set the record on that, okay? Be mindful of my time too. And speaking of my time and your time, who's in the room here? Zen Gen Fitness. Ooh, like that. Zen Gen Fitness. I think we have a Jennifer Cruz that does fitness. Love that name. Our wonderful mod Nina is in the room. Welcome, Nina. Martha Alo, welcome. Christy Reese, good to see you. Dara Blankenship says, I am God. Well, you're kind of true, but it's kind of correct on that statement. We'll get into that in a moment. Laura Jacques Glamour, hello from Alberta, Canada. Hello to you. Stephanie, good to see you. My lovely sister from another mister. Sydney, good to see you. David Cruz, good to see you. Jennifer Cruz, good to see you. AC, happy Thursday to you as well. I'm going to butcher this name. Nil Ganazi Shane. Hope I said that right. Welcome aboard. Good to see you. And Walk Iggy. Good to see you, my friend. PC Monkey the Third. I love the name when I see it. MJ, yes, a tough day, wasn't it? Interesting energy today. Erica MOD, good to see you, gorgeous. Brandy, good to see you. I don't know if I've mentioned you twice. You got all chatting. Celeste, good to see you. Colette Love, good to see you as well. And Sun Scorpio 71, good to see you. K Trony X, good to see you. Hope I said that right too. Lady Larson, good to see you. Elisa Fairs, good to see you. All those shout outs, and whoever's watching, hello. I can't see if you're watching, if you're not chatting. I can only see who's chatting. Welcome aboard. Those who are new, we will be doing, let me get to put this up here. Live readings, $15 for a card pull, $20 for one question, $30 for two questions, $40 for a live video reading with me. The PayPal and Venmo links are in the description. If you want a live video, please, it's Venmo only, just because I need to comment back on your transaction the link to call in for the session. And then we're going to get into our topic, which is, what is God? It's a big, broad question, but we can kind of give you a good perspective on what my perspective is, what God really is, and through my search in this life for understanding what God is, especially trying to find God through religion. I've learned that aspect too. We'll get into that as well. And so we will start with the collective read, but before so, here's a quick little message from our wonderful mod.
Hey homies, let's see what oracle comes through today. It's from the Oracle of the Birds deck, and y'all know I love birds. So let's see what bird message is coming through today, just for funsies, and see what you need to hear. Interesting. Cool. So we got the cuckoo bird. I'm getting that it's okay to be a little cuckoo sometimes. It's the cuckoo bird, and it says realization. Listen to your heart and your intuition. No matter how cuckoo the intuition sounds like, or how cuckoo you feel like what your heart wants is, they're saying it's time to be a little cuckoo about it and really delve in and trust yourself and trust your heart and trust your intuition.
Love that. Love that. And as we all know, with the live show here, we're all very cuckoo. And so speaking of cuckoo, let's get cuckoo with this collective read, shall we? All right, let's shuffle these cards. And those who don't know, I'm not a tarot reader, but I use tarot and I understand tarot. But I like to use tarot in circumstances like this where it requires a collective, I was going to say cuckoo, requires a collective energy, collective read, and kind of good place to start. But I'm a psychic medium, don't necessarily need the cards, can channel that way, but we're going to use those cards anyways. Let's see how cuckoo the message is. And let's we'll see if it's also continuation from last week's as well. I'm trying to remember last week's. There was a lot last week that came out. And the reason why I chose the theme of what is God, because yesterday we were speaking about the divine. A lot of the divine and channeling the divine. Why do I feel that there's some cards missing here in my deck? So then maybe that is a indication of something. Hi Melissa, good to see you. All right, we are shuffling. This is part of the week that's part of the live. I'm just like, wish I could edit this out, or if I had commercials. But we got to go through this shuffling process. So. All right, let's open up and see. It's very interesting. Okay, now this is going to be a collective read for the week. All right, so this week is going to kind of guide you about, and I'm saying this week as far as Thursday to Thursday, because of course my lives are on Thursday. We'll be doing from Thursday to next Thursday. Let me just shuffle these oracles cards here for a moment. And let's see. So this, and I feel like this read is going to be kind of more of a heads up, by the way. Like heads up. This is how you should approach this week ahead, because it's going to be a heavy week. But it doesn't have to be heavy, by the way. Okay, just pulling some more oracle cards here. Okay. All right, well, that kind of makes sense here. This week ahead is going to be rather challenging, cumbersome, or it could actually be very neutral for you, depending on where you're standing. Devil card reverse. I don't usually show the cards, because cards are really kind of more of a template for me, but I'll show them anyways, kind of, emphasize what I'm saying. The devil reverse, it's really calling you to understand your compulsions. Because of this heaviness of this week that might be coming for a lot of you guys, and a lot of the kind of like nudges from spirit saying like, you might want to look at this. It's really time to understand where your compulsions are. And you might start finding yourself addicted to certain things, certain ideas, or you might be finding yourself being addicted to things in the past that you shouldn't have been addicted to. Like that bringing to light this week is going to be very, very important for you to be open to realizing these things. But also saying that there's many of you who are wanting physical changes in your life, but you're not doing the inner work to make those changes. That's going to be revealed to you this week too. The patterns that have been creating complacency, and they're also saying understanding the excuses y'all have been making in your lives. It's funny. I was having a chat with a friend who's been wanting to, get something started with his work, and he was able to find, money for a concert ticket. But he didn't have the money to buy the tool he needed for his business, but it was exactly the same price. And I'm saying, well, and then of course had a horrible time at the concert. And I said, well, that's the spirit telling you that you shouldn't have done that. And of course, it was issues for him to even getting that ticket. And like, why don't you invest that money into the work tool that you need that was the same cost? So again, shifting of priorities. Of course, when he went to the concert, it was a horrible experience. First thought he lost the ticket, all this stuff. And so these are situations in our lives that we have to understand when things are not going well, is because they're going in the wrong direction. And if things are not going well, you're heading in the wrong direction too. So it's not so much that, there's some sort of universe or entity that's like altering things for you. It's a result of you going in the wrong direction. Things are not going to go well in the wrong direction. Things will go right in the right direction. Let's keep it simple, shall we? So you guys need to understand that the decisions that you're making, that whether or not they are priority or not priority. You guys have to understand these compulsive, addictive type of energies that you're having in your life that keeps you in this loop that deprives you of any type of movement forward or like I said before, any type of addiction to excuses. A lot of people are addicted to making excuses. They don't even realize this. Oh, but I've done everything. I've tried everything. Oh, I've did everything. It's like, have you really done everything? Let's think about that statement. You've done everything, but nothing has changed. How does that even become rational? So no, you haven't done everything. You've done everything in the scope of your limited thinking, maybe, but that means that you now need to start expanding your thinking, because if you've done everything in the scope of your current thinking, that's not enough. It's not enough. And so making excuses of why you're not doing that is going to keep you all stuck. So this week is going to be very much a telling sign for you all what has been kind of blocking you, and most importantly it is that mentality. That's going to be blocking you. Many of you guys are going to start feeling like it's unfair, life's unfair, life isn't unfair. Of course, the complaining and the crying and the whining that we tend to do as human beings, right? When we don't get our way. And when you start having the feeling of things won't seem fair to you, start questioning that. Why isn't this fair for me? Why am I experiencing a situation that isn't fair? Am I just a victim to reality, or am I actually dictating and calling shots, or missing the point somewhere along the way in my life? Right? I hear from a lot of people, is there a curse on me? Did someone put a spell on me? All these bad things keep happening to me. And it's like, let's think about that one for a second, just rationally. If someone has the power to hex you, or has the power to put a curse on you that's going to affect your life, clearly you must have the power for yourself to get it off of you, right? So therefore, the question whether or not, why is this happening? Who put a curse on me is irrelevant. Because no matter what, you have the power to remove it, or to reverse it, or to change it. So it doesn't matter where it's coming from. It doesn't matter why things are happening. Well, not so much why things are happening or where it's coming from. It really is about what you're going to do about it. Okay? And usually the why things are happening kind of will lead you to that aspect. Why, it's not relevant of why things are happening in a sense of, the specific circumstances. Right? I always say, look beyond the circumstances, look at the essence of the circumstances to understand, oh, this is a certain pattern here. There's a certain parallel of these experiences that are happening, but they all have the similar thread of information, or a similar thread of a lesson behind it that I need to figure out. But to say that you've tried everything and nothing's changing is arrogance. And I'm sure a lot of you don't intend to be arrogant. Right? I've done everything. I know it all, but I'm just life is taking a shit on me. Well, there's a reason for life taking a dump on you, because if there's no reason for things, that means that life isn't really that intelligent. And to think that life isn't that intelligent means that you're not very intelligent yourself. So it's time to start changing these narratives that we tell ourselves. It's time to stop making excuses. And really it's time to recognize this week and ask yourselves, am I making excuses for things if things aren't happening in my life? Am I making excuses? Am I being arrogant and thinking I've done everything? And if I think I've done everything, then how can I expand my perception to realize there's more? And this is part of the surrendering that I want to talk about too, because this thing is like, it's time to surrender to that, meaning that you're not fighting anymore against things, right? And so we hear surrender all the time. Surrender, oh, surrender. Surrender to what? A lot of people don't realize, what am I surrendering to, and for what purpose? So surrendering means that you're not trying to force things any longer. You're not trying to push without thinking or without consideration. You're allowing yourself to take a step back for a moment and just breathe and just exhale and just to process the circumstances in your life and just to observe for a moment, just seeing what's going on so you can assess the situations accordingly. That's really surrendering. I'm going to stop driving for a second. Let me slow this car down because I'm going in loops. I'm not finding my way, so I'm driving around the same neighborhood. You're going to want to slow down and just take a moment to like reflect on where you're heading and what the location is and all that stuff when you're driving. You don't just continue to drive in loops, do you? Oh, well, I'll find my way sooner or later, and the more you see the same signs, I'm going to keep driving. Something's going to change. A new direction, a new path is going to unfold somehow while I keep driving in a loop. Same signs. You won't do that. You're going to stop, say, okay, what did I miss a turn somewhere? Did I, let me look at the navigation. Is there some information I'm missing? This is what we'll do for driving. So when you're driving your life, you might just slow down for a moment, take a step back and assess the situation. Ask yourself, are you just going around the same corner all the time, seeing the same signs and not doing anything about it? And not picking up on the clues that are telling you, oh, there's a hidden road here that you're supposed to take, or you're missing this opportunity here, or you've been disregarding that message from spirit or from even someone in the physical world. So it's time to be perceptive. That's what surrendering means. You're going to stop driving for a moment and assess the situation, okay? Because, believe it or not, that's when you'll start finding the nourishment, right? And so the nourishment and pleasure, that's kind of like what the two cards that came together on this one, meaning that, when you surrender, you will actually realize all that is going well for you. You might even realize, like things have actually going in my favor. And like, I've come up to this point in my life, like, wow, I'm actually I feel pleased about where I've come from, where I'm at. I'm just kind of in this rambunctious energy without, direction and not really being perceptive. Like things are actually going pretty well for me. And that will bring a lot of realization in this like pause and slowing down. Because when you're assessing things, you might realize, oh, it's not that as bad as I thought it was. It's not as bad as I think it was, right? And walk. I love that you said it's called gratitude because that was the next card. Is gratitude. See that? So, but we have to explain gratitude because many people say, "Oh, just have gratitude." And be like, "I don't have gratitude. My life sucks, and I don't have the love in my life, and things aren't going my way." So you can tell people to have gratitude, but gratitude is a result when you actually observe the things that really please you. This is why I said pleasure and said this first, nourishment, because you have to recognize first. You can't just be in gratitude just for the sake of being in gratitude. You have to actually get your mind to shift in a perspective of the things that are working well for you and the things that actually are pleasurable in your life. That's how you have gratitude. You can't say, I'm just going to have gratitude just because it's a result. So look around. When you take a step back, you stop driving in circles. You start realizing in your life that, things are pretty well and I'm just missing certain components and I'm pushing too hard. I'm being too hard on myself. I'm being too hard on life. I'm not allowing myself to be, patient in the process. And as I always say, patience does not mean waiting. Patience means you're nurturing the situation. So this is the week for this, guys. This is the week to get out of that mindset, to get out of your loops, right? And to take a step back from your circumstances and observe what you're doing and get out of those compulsive, addictive type of personality traits that continues to lie, to make excuses, to keep you in an arrogant zone of, I've done everything. You haven't. Trust me. If you did, you would not be saying, I've tried everything. Okay? So, let me pull some more cards for the secondary. Focus on abundance, not lack. I just want to say this for a moment that let's clarify this, okay? Because it's not about focusing on abundance or lack. It's identifying abundance or lack. It's not so much about the focus on such, because we can put our mindsets in specific ideologies. We can repeat all the bumper stickers we want and say it's all about love is love, all these things, but no one really identifies and knows what that really means. So we need to identify lack versus abundance. And so abundance is such a broad term. Abundance of what? If you say focus on abundance, well, you have an abundance of air, you have abundance of thought, you have abundance of breath, you have abundance of water, abundance of wind, abundance of trees, abundance of grass blade, all that stuff we have. So when we ask for abundance, don't be a fool and saying like, oh, universe, give me abundance. It's like you already have abundance. You have the abundance of tools, a resource from spirit to create the world that you want. You have it. You're not utilizing your abundance. There's a difference. So when we say focus on abundance, we're talking about actually utilizing the abundance that you have to generate more experience in your life and understanding what you were doing that's lacking your point of view and creating more of that lack in your life. And that usually comes from perspective. And if you're not utilizing the abundance you already have, you're not going to see any more of it. You just can keep it with that narrow perspective. So it's important to understand when we keep saying focusing on abundance, what kind of abundance? You already have abundance, and what are you trying to create? What are you trying to expand and elaborate on? But that comes from the change of self. You know, these things in the physical world and things that you're trying to achieve are results of your behavior, results of your perspective, and results of what you're focusing on. So if you're having lack, you're actually, it's not so much you're focusing on lack, you're being lack-minded in your perception, in your pursuit on your goals. You're not seeing the bigger picture, so that, of course, will create lack in your life. So it's not so much about focusing on abundance, not lack, it's identifying that, you know, because a lot of these spiritual ideologies prevent you from just thinking broadly. Oh, don't think about that. It's like, no, look at it. Think about it. See the parallel. See the dichotomy, you know? So we got to look at it. So we can't be afraid to be objective and call out what is and what isn't. That's quite all right. And many people feel like that if they acknowledge the lack in their life, and all of a sudden they're going to think like, oh, well, I'm going to create more of it. No, your feeling and what your mission is going to create more of that. You're allowed to analyze. If that were true, then scientists wouldn't be able to be scientists. That everything they're studying, they would start creating that. If they're studying cancer, they're all getting cancer because they're focusing on cancer. Please don't think this way. It's about being solution-oriented. You can look at the disease, you can look at the illness, you can look at the problem. As much as you want to analyze the problem, as you want, as long as you're solution-oriented. If you're not solution-oriented, well, then you just become what you're trying to fight against, actually. So let's be clear here. I'm saying to a lot of people just afraid about thinking and looking at the picture. They're afraid of addressing the excuses. They're afraid to address the things that are stalling them down. And we're saying like, no, you have to look at it. You know, I mean, let's use simple analogies too. What if, you know, a dog took a shit in your room? You don't want to look at it. You just kind of don't look. I don't look at it. I want to smell it. You're going to leave it there? You got to look at it, clean it up. Doesn't mean you're going to turn it to shit. It's a stupid analogy, but sometimes we have to understand how silly our thinking is. And I'm always trying to like reprogram a lot of these spiritual communities with their ideologies about they're keeping people stuck and bound from actually looking at their problems and studying their problems so they can create more insight into what is going on psychologically so they can evolve spiritually. I feel like there's a need for a second part to this, so I'm actually pulling another round of cards here. But this is this week coming ahead that you guys need to be very focused on. Otherwise, you're going to have a lot of messengers showing to you that you're on the right direction or the wrong direction. And everyone thinks that spirit helps them out to make them feel good. No. Sometimes spirit's going to make you feel bad. Sometimes spirit's like, you know, okay, well, you want to choose that concert over going to that work event? Well, then you're going to have a difficult time trying to get to that concert, and the concert's not going to go well. I'm using that as an example from previously. Spirit's like, I'll make sure you're not going to have a good time, so you understand your choices are not going well. And if you don't see the signs from that one experience, you're going to have multiple experiences until you get it. I don't care how much and I say this repetitively, it doesn't matter how much you're trying to manifest goodness. If you're missing the point, it's not going to happen, the goodness, until you address the problem and create the solution for the problem. So this week is going to be heavy in that sense for those of you who are avoiding the truth and those of you who are not looking at the problem. And so take advantage. I would say this is not to be, you know, poo-poo on the parade energy. This is to say, take advantage of this. Take advantage. Some of you guys are wanting to know what the problems are, and you have the opportunity now to really find them. You have the opportunity now to really say, you know what, I can see the problem now. It's being shown to me. Oh my God, it's obvious. It's in my face. Take advantage of that, because that's where you can actually make simple maneuvers of changing your life and seeing great acceleration, because again, we're in a year of movement. So when you release the anchors and you start, you know, catapulting yourself forward, you'll fly forward once you release and cut the cords of the anchor, so to speak. So take advantage of that energy. I'm here to try to help you guys do this, right? And all these reads are week to week. I'm just pulling a secondary part 2 of the pulse. I love this. I love the phrase, you have to break down to break through. And I love that this card is basically saying this. The Tower card is all about change. It's all about things breaking down structures, breaking down ideologies, breaking down any type of modality that's been hindering you, right? But the Star card coming after that's saying that's where you shine. This is where you're all going to shine. You're going to shine when you break down those modalities of thinking that have been holding you back. You're going to shine when you realize those things that have been hindering you. You're going to shine. There's an enlightenment to this. And the rewards of such is actually getting what you want in life. Those are the rewards. Right? So I love that that's kind of like the two cards that came, in conjunction to each other with the Tower card with the Star card, because it's saying that's how you become bright. That's how you shine bright, baby. When you break down those things that have been causing you a hindrance in your life. All right? We'll pull some more Oracle cards, and then we're going to get to the live readings. I want you guys to comment in the comment section. Affirm, I will make excuses no more. I am the power of my myth. I'm the creator of my myth. Let me rephrase that because I'm just kind of making it up as I go along. Say, I no longer make excuses, for I'm the God of my own myth. I want you to put that in the topic there. In the comments. My words here. Put that in the comment section. I want you all to affirm that. I will no longer make excuses, for I am the God of my own myth. I want you guys to affirm this. I want you to understand that what goes good and bad, it's your creation. Good and bad. Especially when it comes from previous incarnations. And the more you understand that you are the God of your own myth, you understand your whole story in totality. The whole story in totality. I love the Sovereign card and Self-Reflection card come side by side to that. Sovereign card, Self-Reflection card. Okay? There's no universe or deity that's punishing you. It's you. Right? And so when you understand your creation totality of your soul, then you understand the evolution of your soul evolution from previous incarnations and in this incarnation, and what you're trying to strive to grow into to ascend. And we're talking about soul ascension, not physical life ascension. Ascension of the soul. A lot of you guys are trying to ascend in the physical world. That's not ascension. Okay, ascension of the physical world is a result of the ascension of the soul. When you're focused on ascending the soul, then you start ascending in the physical world. A lot of guys are trying to fight against physical world things and thinking it's ascension, and it's not. A lot of guys are thinking because you acquired some bags of money or some material wealth that somehow that's ascension. It's not. Focusing on manifesting those things is not ascension. Okay, soul ascension and the soul purpose, the soul lessons, that's ascension, and the result of that is the material goods and the reflections of such, right? So some of these New Age communities are putting the cart before the horse, in a sense, right? A healthy relationship is a reflection of a healthy soul, healthy heart. Good health is a reflection of a healthy body and a healthy mind, and stamina of the mind and stamina of the body. That's good health. A great job is a reflection of great worth that you put out. Right? So if you're not putting out worth and you want a great job, a great pay, how does that work? Right? So now's the time to dive deep within and understand, what are you really here to create? What are you here to expand on the soul level? You are the God of your own myth. And I say this weekly. It's my phrase. Speaking of, let's go into our topic. What is God? Now, we have to think outside of religion, because, when we look at religion, there's some sort of God in the sky that is judging you for every action that you make. And if you don't find this God, right, this God has abandoned you, put you in the physical world. Now you're supposed to find this God by living righteously, by following commands and rules to be a good person. That's what kind of this religious ideology of God is on the fundamental, simplistic level. To me, that's not very intelligent. A God, an all-knowing God, to say that I'm going to abandon you. Now find me. If you don't find me, you're going to burn in hell for all eternity. So you didn't find me. You didn't say a little prayer. That sounds like a very man-made, narcissistic, egomaniac type of structure of thought. Okay? A God energy is not concerned with what you're doing, because the God energy is all that is. The God energy is like a void energy. It knows itself based on your physical life, the life that you're living. The more you expand and more there's different reflections of that God energy experiencing different aspects and modalities of life, the more the God energy knows itself. So therefore, the God energy is not judgmental about what you need to do, what you need to follow. The man-made God just wants to keep society in order in their own way, in their own perspective. That's create order in their own mind and keep people controlled. That's not the God energy. The God energy needs all that is and everything that exists to exist and to continue to expand because it creates an infinite loop of creation. So that's why there's no God energy saving people from evil or eradicating evil that we define as evil in the physical world when we cry about things that are going bad, because they need to exist. And the God observing the duality in that sense knows itself more, and it allows for us to continue to expand and to evolve as well, to be eternal beings. That is the point. You can't be eternal without expansion, and you can't have expansion without negativity and darkness. So it has to exist. So the God energy is all that is. We are extensions of that God energy. We are little shards of reflections of that God energy, and it's through our experiences collectively too that we evolve and help to preserve the God energy. We're working, in harmony with the divine and the Most High. It's not judgmental. And to think that somehow a God is, so caring, concerned about who people sleep with, if you're having premarital sex or not, if you're having children or not, somehow the God is like vengeful of this kind of a natural occurrence of evolution. Doesn't make sense. I don't think a God is concerned about who's rolling around in your bed and if you're doing any type of sexual things in your life. The God energy is, are you evolving? Are you expanding? That's the God energy, is about expansion and evolution. And we're not expanding and evolving, then we know, because the hell is that we feel trapped, we feel stuck, we feel disconnected from the God, the source energy, and that's what pain is. A disconnection from the divine is what pain is. So we have the navigation system here in the physical world to understand if we are connected in the divine purpose or not, based on happiness or pain. Power or disempowered. Very simple, black and white in that sense. It's almost very, very adolescent in thinking in that sense. But to think that you are being judged by a deity based on what you're doing is not godly, it's manly. Only men judge men, okay? Only those who are looking down, in a sense, on humanity and judge humanity are the ones that judge. Now judgment is not the same thing as consequence either, by the way. We reap the consequences of our actions here in the physical world all the time. Okay? That's what we call karma. And so the consequences of your actions that you don't learn from continue to manifest and continue to expand, because that is just consequence. That's just what it is. That's what karma really is in our experiences of our incarnations as well as our soul journey. So you're free to explore what you wish to explore. And sometimes the calling of God, when people call about God to kill and they say in the name of God, well, let me tell you something. Clearly there's a divine purpose for people to bring havoc and evilness upon the world. And we call it evil in the physical form because we think death is the end all be all. But there's somewhat true about this, because there is that wrench. When we look at the Old Testament in the Christian Bible, the Old Testament God was very vengeful and wrathful and killing, and and the orders of sacrificing your firstborn. Does that sound good to you? So remember, God is all that is, and you want to make sure you're connected to that divine energy of expansion and understanding where you want to be. Obviously, those of you guys who are empathetic and want to love and bring goodness to the planet, that's your mission. We're here to bring light, so that's our mission. Some are here to bring dark, and that's their mission, right? Some are here to be in the middle so they can actually support our journey of accomplishing light and dark. But you got to understand where you stand, but we cannot judge others either, and we need to understand where they are at in their own karmic journeys and karmic lessons. Because, again, people are repeating their karma of trauma in this lifetime too, where they could have inflicted a lot of trauma on people in their past, and now they're experiencing it in this lifetime, or learning a specific curve and lesson that's necessary for them. So it's all necessary. So when you understand and you want to become more the divine energy, you see all, you understand all, you understand everything has a place and a purpose, that everything is connected, and you understand that there is no judgment of either one, and because everything exists but non-existence when it comes to spirituality and when it comes to the God energy, and everything has to exist. And when you say something needs to cease to exist, you're out of alignment from that God energy, and you're depriving yourself of expansion. So we all need to make sure that we, are understanding it all has to exist, and that becomes more clear about your own purpose and what you can do to evolve and help others to evolve too, and be a better, I would say, a help and a better effect on the world than just sitting judging and crying and complaining and and trying to manifest toys in your life versus expanding your soul purpose, which will then help others to evolve too. So God is not a man. The God energy is not a man. It's an infinite intelligence. an infinite intelligence, which means that it knows things that you don't know. It knows, it has a lot of information and knowledge that you don't have, but you can also gain that by connecting with your divine and understanding that I'm expanding my soul to gain more information by remaining connected to the divine and seeing expansion no matter what the circumstance is. That's progression. That's expansion. That's positivity, or what we call positivity. That's expansion. So that's empowerment. Okay? So we need to be in that element. And I think that when we understand what God truly is, and we shed ourselves of this, the Christian and religion and religious judgments of so forth, and use them as templates or guides of how to seek the divine, then we have a different mission in our lives, different point of view in our lives. And we start allowing ourselves to fuck up and not judging ourselves for fuck up and understanding, you know what? It wasn't a fuck up. I need to make that decision. So actually, it's just where I was at and I've grown. There's no fuck ups in my life. There's no regrets. It's all needed. That helps to accelerate your life and accelerate manifestation in your life more so. And it keeps you less stuck, less complaining, less whining, and more about like, oh, I got this. Good, I needed that. Let's move on. So, and that's how when you see people evolve quickly in their lives, that's because that's how they're practicing their lives. That's how I practice my life daily. For the past 25, 30 years of my life, I've been practicing that and finding that flow. And that's the flow that everyone keeps talking about. Everyone wants to taunt and chant all the time. Oh, just got to be in the flow. Just got to be in the flow. We need to understand what the flow means. The flow of the divine, the flow of non-judgmental energy, the flow of and people say it's the lack of resistance, and saying that's not completely true either. That's too broad of a statement. Oh, no resistance. Don't have resistance. No, we need to resist certain things. And I always make the statement that if someone were to come in to assault you, are you going to be like, no resistance, I'll have at it with my body? You're not going to do that. You're going to resist it and pull away and fend for yourself and protect yourself. Because why? That's empowerment. Loving the self. Standing up for yourself is empowerment. That's called resistance, by the way. So people go around town and, I'm just no resistance. It's resistance that's creating my problems. But we need to understand the resistance of what? The resistance of the fact that you're not growing, you're resisting learning, you're resisting to look at the bad, you're resisting to finding solutions. That's the resistance we need to be talking clear about. Throwing out these generic terms ain't going to do anything for your spiritual growth or evolution. And it's not going to manifest what you're trying to manifest in your life. Sometimes we need resistance, and sometimes we need to push away with equal power that which is, either causing harm, that which is being a detriment to our growth, that's being a detriment to our well-being. We have to resist it and push it away. That's a power that we have within to do. And so please understand, and I see a lot of these people like, well, I'm having resistance, so I have to stop. I have to, stop being resistant to this. I'm like, it's a shitty situation. You should be resisting it. It's a natural pull away. It's a natural intuitive pull away from something. So please be clear about the resistance that you need to be having and the resistance that you need to be letting go of. Everything has a duality to it. A positive and a negative. However we used to say. I like to say a powered or disempowered pole to things. Okay? So be clear on the kind of resistance that you need and the kind that you don't need. All right? And then you would be more clear and attached to the divine flow. Once more, everybody is trying to achieve a result without doing what creates the result. So getting flow is a result of everything I just stated. I'm in flow. By telling yourself I'm in flow is not going to do it. So this is the week that's going to bring a lot of this to the table for you guys. And being spiritual doesn't mean you're fed a whole load of rainbows and unicorns every day. That's not spirituality. Oh, I just felt good. That's not spirituality. Sometimes you feel like shit. Feel the shit, let's figure out what to do with the shit, and move on and grow from the shit. Then we'll feel good. Sometimes that's a process. A lot of times that's a process. But we have to stop pacifying ourselves, right? We have to stop pacifying others too to make it feel good in the moment. It's not helping, it's hurting us. And once we confront the issues, once we confront the problems, you realize it's not that big of a deal as I thought it was. It's not that hard. Actually, I kind of got this. I feel empowered to do this. Because if it's a purpose you have to fulfill, you'll have the power. You'll have the determination. You'll have the fuel. You'll realize that. And that's the blessings. That's the blessings. Okay. What are y'all thinking? You guys are kind of more quiet than usual today in the chat. I mean, maybe I'm just not paying attention. Deborah says, I am reading Holy Envy right now. And today, the first sentence of the chapter, I am Amon asked this exact question. Love the time. Awesome. Great. Synchronicity. That's one thing I want you to understand about synchronicity. When you're in tune with your spirit, you see things in sync in that way. But we have to also understand when we're experiencing things that we don't like, that's synchronicity too. The same, cheating relationship, that's synchronicity, right? Things going bad all the time, that's synchronicity. You're not getting that job, you're looking for a job, and then nothing's happening. That's synchronicity too. We only want to talk about synchronicity when we see the angel numbers or we see that things are going our way. So we understand, like, your bad situations are synchronous too. And so when we understand that duality as well, we have great navigation to get out of the loop that we're in. My brother's going through a huge tower moment, and your message is spot on. Yeah, your brother, just reading your brother right now from that comment. Your brother's hard-headed. He's a little stubborn. The problem is that he's been resisting a lot. He's been resisting a lot of, things that have been presented in his face, I'm feeling like. And so he's been banging his head on a wall and not doing the obvious. So he's been massively stubborn, your brother, which has created his tower moment, So I think that, when we think about this, a lot of times when we're stubborn, things intensify. And, and I think that, again, people are so focused on how to stop intensifying it and instead of looking at what's intensifying it, right? The first thing we want to ask is, what is doing it? What's the cause? But, he's going to have a breakdown moment, It's funny because I feel like your brother, Chris, he's kind of like he's been banging his body around too. So he might have been careless with his body too. Like he's not paying attention. He's also been very reckless in his approach to things in a sense. So I feel like he maybe just banged his knee recently. He's been banging things and hitting things and being careless, And so, Okay, let's go to the questions. And guys, I'm going to close down reading. So get your questions in now before I shut them down. All right. Question is from Steph. Oh yeah. Anybody want to add to the dialogue, to the discussion? I'm not closing down yet, Nina. I will be in like probably 20 minutes. I'll be closing them down. So if you haven't gotten them in, get them in. If not, they'll be closed down soon. Okay. Okay. If anyone wants to add anything to that conversation, please feel free. Otherwise, I'm going to move on to questions. I would say sometimes, Spirit gives a lot of tough love, guys. Right? And, I'm definitely here because I want to be able to be a voice for Spirit. And a lot of times you guys are looking for like sweet signs as messages from Spirit, and that's not how Spirit works. Spirit has a massive spectrum of how to handle circumstances. So a lot of times Spirit's just trying to give you a really harsh wake-up call too, and tough love. So you're all saying, where's my message? I'm not getting a sign. Where's the lover? Where's the job? Where's this? And Spirit's trying to show you what you're doing that's preventing you from getting those things. So please understand, Spirit comes and gives you tough love too. And so if you're just looking for these wonderful rewards for no reason, you're going to keep yourself stuck and deprived of what Spirit actually is. And I've learned this through the years too. Spirit is very forceful too. If you're asking for spiritual guidance, they're going to give it to you. And if you're asking for some sort of help, they're going to kick you in the ass. That's the truth. It's the truth. All this flighty, hokey dokey, fluffy duffy shit ain't happening for people. It's not helping. And you might need more of that fluffy duff in your life, and that's great, and we all do, and we all want that peace. And so, but we didn't really come here to find peace and happiness, guys. I'm going to be very honest, and this is something I've been learning and studying spirit and spirituality and psychology and soul evolution for a long time. It's like going to a battlefield and going to war, and people saying, I'm just looking for peace and happiness. It's like people go in the battlegrounds. Well, I'm just finding my peace and happiness. Be like, what the hell are you talking? We got to fight. We got to fight. So in this case, not that I'm saying life is a fight, but life is a challenge. There's a mission in life. Okay? And so Some of you guys may have to learn happiness and joy and peace, and that might be a mission. So I'm not saying that's not a theme, but that's not why we came here. We came here we have a mission here. And so we didn't come to just sit back and chillax and be like, okay, I've incarnated in the physical world. Just, unless you reach the peak in your evolution where you have to learn that, then that's one thing, right? But the majority of us, we're here on a mission. Not just to be happy all the time, be fluffy-duffy, and be pacified our whole lives. That's not it. And when you realize that's the key, and you realize what the mission is, you will always be happy. That's the paradox here, guys. When you realize you're not here for happiness, and you're not here to find peace and joy, in a sense, you're here on your mission. Whatever your mission is, you will find happiness and peace and joy. Because you're living your purpose. And when you live your purpose, it's exhilarating, it's joyful, it's loving, it's expansive. There's this power, this completeness, and where circumstances don't fucking matter because you're in that empowered state because you know that you can navigate through any circumstance no matter what it is because you have the power to do so. That's joyful. That's happiness. That's peace. This is what we're striving for. So if you guys are being, trembled and trembling over these little circumstances in life and feeling defeated because your love life isn't going in the right direction for a period of time, you need to start reevaluating your priorities and your perspective on your totality of life because, a lot of people are trying to find the right home. It's not saying it's not bad to find a house or to buy a home. That's fine. But that's not your purpose of coming here. You didn't say, I'm going to incarnate into physical reality. I'm going to leave all that is and experience all it is so I can find a physical house. That's what I'm going to do in physical life. Does that sound right to you guys? So I'm not saying to strive for getting your own house, but that shouldn't be your theme in life. That shouldn't be why you think you're here. What's your purpose? And again, when you find your purpose and you're in the right space, if you're being the right rhythm, you get the right house. You always find the house that you need. So, again, the paradox, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are really getting understanding the point of, the paradoxical point of that putting the cart before the horse. It's not as bad as we think it is. That's exactly right. Your resistance to looking at that makes it bad. Your resistance of looking at self and growing is bad. So that kind of resistance, no bueno, right? But you want to resist. It's like, no, I'm going to resist the self-defecating shit. I'm going to resist the disempowering stuff. I'm pushing that away. I don't want that. No. I don't want that. So I'm going in this direction. I'm learning this. I'm thinking these thoughts. So yeah, you do want to resist the disempowering thoughts. I always like to first analyze them, have a discussion with those negative thoughts. I love that. You know what I'm saying? I love to kind of let's talk these negative thoughts for a minute. Let's have a conversation. All right, Fear, what are you talking about here? You think I can't do it? Why? Why do you think I can't do this? Have a conversation. Say, yep, I'm good. No, never mind. Resisting it. Okay. Let me get back to my questions. And also the divine, God is passion. God is passion. God is a source of passion. God is a source of energy, source of fuel in your life. You find the true divine energy, there's passion. There's a zeal. Okay, back to questions that I started but didn't really start. Stephanie says, when will I start closing my real estate deals? Dominic, my kickboxer trainer, is he going to ask me out anytime soon? By fall, again, let me say this, because you haven't closed doesn't mean you're not having movement, right? There's timings, there's a consideration, there's businesses, I have to think about stuff. So by fall, which means it could happen anytime before fall, but by the fall. Your kickboxing trainer is going to ask you out anytime soon. No, I mean, there might be a casual hangout moment or something like that. I just don't feel like he is. He's not unavailable to me. So I think that he's intertwined with somebody else, or going through something else. I don't feel like there's a flirtation, but I don't think there's a reluctance of wanting to pursue anything with you because of being intertwined with something else. But I don't think he's pondering it that much in a sense, as you might be. But I just want to say, these situations that you're clinging to, I would advise you to stop clinging to those situations where you're kind of getting breadcrumbs. If they didn't ask you out when there's a connection, then you shouldn't consider or give it any type of time or even wonderment. Stop giving people wonderment. If you have to wonder about people, you're not in the right direction. If you have to wonder, will they? Even if they do, if you have to wonder, they're not being clear. So you don't even want to get involved in something that's not clear. Like Ashley, but that is his name. I forgot the other person. Stop chasing that pattern, Mrs. Stephanie. We're doing tough love this week, and I'm serious about that. So give up on that energy, and I'm sure once you give up on the energy, and he's like, "Hey, so you want to grab a drink somewhere or grab a bite to eat?" Then he might do that. But he feels intertwined with another relationship, and don't consider this. Don't be like, "Oh, I'm getting breadcrumb, and so I'm waiting on him." Fuck that. No, you're not a waitress. You're not a server. Don't be waiting on people. But I feel like, I just hear by fall, things will close, things will finalize with that as well by fall. When I say buy, it could happen sooner. It just doesn't seem any later than that. And there might be one contract that will get through to December and January. So there might be one contact around that time, like December, January. And I know you're like, I know what you're talking about, Scott. And then after the session, you're like, oh my God, this, I'm just teasing because of last time. Oh, for those guys who were last week when when Stephanie's mom came through, I was mentioning that, and I like to do these kind of give these stories because a lot of times people in mediumship sessions like, I don't know, and then after sessions they come to realize it. So it's normal. This happens. So I was channeling Stephanie's lovely mom, and I said she keeps clutching these like lavender purple beaded jewelry thing, And it was beaded in like lavender, but I'm like, I never saw rose that color, so I didn't say rosary. So Stephanie's like, I have no clue. I don't know. Then after the live or during the live, she sent me a picture that she had her mom's, purple beaded rosary. So very specific. But again, a lot of times in when we're channeling spirit, clients are like, I don't know. And then afterwards they figure it out. So I like people to understand how much that happens. And so that's in a mediumship session, I say, take notes because it's going to come throughout the session. Your brain's not going to be on board with it right now. Okay. Second question is for Brandy Ainsley. Should I continue the program director role at my job? It's not the main part of my job. It's a side role, and I'm not sure if I want to keep doing it. I'm torn 50-50. I can't make a decision for you, my love. So like psychics are not able to make a decision, but I'll read the hell out of it and tell you maybe why it's a good decision or not. So I really can't make the decision for you, but I will help to let you know what you're missing about it. And actually, spirits tell me I need to tell you what to do. I would abandon it. Here's the thing. Why? I feel like at this job, you're not getting compensated enough for it, and I feel like they're taking advantage of it, and I feel like they need to understand your worth. What I would do is I would ask for an increase of pay, or I would say that, well, I would like to continue, but I need this in order to continue. Like, there needs to be some sort of negotiation. If you don't, bye-bye. But I get an energy they're taking advantage of you. And you're not being taken care of yourself and being compensated for that. So I would put a condition on it. I would give them a ultimatum if they want to continue with you on that. If not, then don't exhaust yourself. This way you can have time and space for some that would accommodate you, and have time and space for some to expand on what you're doing outside of that. You're not everybody's mother, okay? I'm getting this. And that's a very sweet thing, and I love you for that. But this isn't the setting to be everybody's mom, in that sense, right? And so I think that when you do that and you put a threshold on what you're willing to do without getting something in return, that you're not charity work. And if it was charity work for you, you wouldn't be in opposition. For example, if it was your karma to be charitable in this way, you'd feel good. There would be no opposition. Everything would just work. They would celebrate you. They would accommodate you. They would give, They would give you all that. But this is not your karma to be charitable in this way, and this is why you're having an opposition right now. So they're telling me they're taking advantage and to put an ultimatum in the mix on this. And if they don't meet your needs, what you're wanting, what you feel like you're deserving it, then they're saying then to move on and to leave it, and to allow your space to be filled with other expansive opportunities. Remember, guys, value is supposed to be received by you, meaning that if you put out value, you're supposed to get value too. That is the flow. That is the ebb and flow of light. You can't just put out value to people. And this is a general message for everybody, because a lot of times I get inspired to say something based on a question that's asked. So if you guys just think about, I'm just putting out value, but but you're not getting anything in return, then it's not valuable. It's got to be valuable to you too, meaning that in a sense of it's coming back to you, right? And when it's valuable to people, they'll pay for it, they'll appreciate it, and a lot of times people just take advantage of things, so there's no value. They're not appreciating the value, so therefore it degrades the value. Understand this. So if you're putting out value and you're around people that are not appreciating it, they're degrading the value and they're dismissing the value that you're putting out. So make sure you're getting that value in return. There's an ebb and flow to things, okay? And a lot of light workers, a lot of people who do spiritual work seem to think that they shouldn't charge for their services. That is the most biggest crock of shit I've ever heard, especially from cult leaders who seem to think that they teach their little the followers, no, don't charge for your services, just take donations. Meanwhile, the cult organization is projecting to make millions. No bueno, it's a lie, okay? It's an excuse for the cult leader to not pay their employees. Don't follow that trend. You are putting out service, and people need to be paying for their services. This is the part of the world that we live in, because that is called value. If you give things out for free all the time, you start enabling people to be less appreciative. It creates enabling behavior. If you keep giving people for free and doing things, then people don't appreciate it. Then people take advantage. Then people blame you for their problems, and they expect more. That's not a very positive result by giving things for free to people all the time and then suck you dry. That's very negative energy. That's bad energy. So when you set the parameter of, I give a service, and here's the trade on that fact, you're in balance with nature. You're in balance with the divine ebb and flow of this reality. And the more in demand you are, you increase your prices. That's what appreciation, guys. You want to talk about abundance? A lot of guys are talking about abundance, but you don't want to raise your prices. I don't know. But if you're in high in demand, you got to raise your prices. Your services are appreciating. And when the money appreciates, the value goes up. When things appreciate, the value goes up. And so that's the natural process. You cannot be saying, I want abundance, but I'm afraid of raising my prices. I'm afraid of asking for that promotion. Because then you're not appreciating your job. You're not allowing to appreciate and decrease in value. So you keep yourself stuck and wonder why you're not in abundance financially. You don't have financial abundance. It's natural that things expand and increase in value. That is natural. And to degrade your services by saying, I shouldn't charge because I have some sort of issue with money, that's a problem. And don't buy into that narrative. You start accepting money for what it is, a freaking tool. It's a tool. And you're going to have to be able to, if you want to help people, you have to have some sort of stimulant, some sort of foundation that's going to keep you safe and secure to keep you to do so. Being poor is not going to keep you in this position to help people. Sorry. Being poor is not going to give you a position to take care of your health and to eat right. If you're teaching people how to eat healthy, but you're poor and you can't afford healthy foods. So get out of that mindset. Start asking and putting out the value and expecting the same value that you give out in return. That's called balance. It's the ebb and flow of reality. Give and flow. Ebb and flow. I heard so much nonsense of this crap of, oh, but I'm spiritual. I've had so many people come in the beginning of my career, trying to make me feel guilty that I'm supposed to be helping people for free. I said who? I said, if you live by that, don't be a hypocrite, I tell them. If you believe that, then demand that your food be free in the grocery store. If you truly believe that, go to your doctor and tell him that he needs to not charge you. Go to your Botox person and say they should be doing it for free. If you truly believe that services should be free, and if they're helping you, that it should be free, then live by that and demand it across the board. Don't come through that nonsense. And that was my Aquarius approach in the beginning of my career when people would come to me with that garbage. Expecting free shit, which creates entitlement. When you give people free shit all the time, you create entitlement. How good is that energy? Is that good? No. So hopefully some of you guys who feel reluctant of really projecting your value, don't. Because the world and spirit supports you owning your value. I used to do, and I knew my place. When I was first doing live shows and live readings, I would do free free readings on there because I was just getting my footing starting on social media. I was lazy because I was getting clients from TV for so many years. I'm like, I need to change my work. It's not about just getting clients, it's about expanding my message and doing things differently, being accessible. So when I started with doing live readings, I was doing them for free because I wanted to build kind of a roundup and understanding how I can do the format. And once I've gained that, I say value of doing online live shows, I started charging. So I don't burn out. So I'm getting something in return than just throwing out energy to a whole bunch of people, right? So doing a card pull for Sydney right now. This is how I want to keep you guys with me too. I like to kind of give you guys motivation from questions that I'm receiving so we can all be included in the live readings. And if you think about this, Chrissy, it's not so much tough love. We're just telling you how much you're worth. We're saying, know your worth. Is that really tough love? No. It's telling you to understand that you're powerful. This is the message. You are powerful. You can overcome your circumstances. If I want to simplify what I'm saying you are powerful. You can overcome those circumstances. You can expand from your circumstances. You can attract what you want around you if you allow yourself to understand and find that power from the divine. And you deserve the same value that you get in return. This is actually really not so much tough love. It's a passion of love. It might be tough for you for some guys to receive it because you're so used to be boggled down and so used to like being this fake self-righteous humble crap, which I think is a psyop to keep people powerless. Which I think there's a lot of psyop and a lot of misinformation thrown into the spiritual community to keep people not help hold people down and back. Okay, interesting. Legal issues. I feel like there's two people that will be coming in legally for legal counsel for legal issues. And they're saying that you're going to be, someone's going to come up with the home or move too. So I feel like if you're seeking any type of legal advice on something, you'll have it. I feel like there'll be two male energies that might come in to assist with some sort of legal issue. And also, I think that you're also going to find, you might be thinking about relocating or disconnecting from the current house or property that you are maybe associated with an individual. So I feel you might be letting go of a property or letting go of a home or something of that nature. And whatever, if you're seeking legal advice, I feel like there'll be two people that will come in to help with this too, as well. Something about removing the parameters of having shared, ties to something, and getting rid of a shared, either with your children's father. Removing any type of shared parameters is what I'm hearing. That might be in the mix, and there might be some legal counsel that comes in to assist with this in that sense. I kind of feel like that it's almost time to maybe move. You have to let other people take care of things for you and assist with you in this situation. Let other people step up to the plate when it comes to legalities and trying to achieve certain things. And so I think that you need to let other people dictate. You can't be so headstrong on this. You don't know a lot of information that you have to sit back and let the information be given to you. So there it is right there. Good. So again, something with the property and the shared stuff being broken away. That's kind of what I'm seeing, but I feel like there's two. So if you're talking to one, there might be a second one that comes in to help and assist, and I feel like that will be, they came in the upright position to me, so that means it'd be helpful and positive in that sense. Now the Four of Wands came in reverse, so that means that's usually like a not moving energy, or turning a situation with a home upside down. So to me, it was reading like there's some sort of a flipping of a home or flipping of a property, and I was feeling like releasing ties that someone else may have to it. Ain't that good? Adam Turner says, "What's the next step for Renee's work situation?" We love you, Scott. Adam, Renee, banana. Okay. I love that. Oh, it's Adam. Yeah, I love Adam. Okay. Next up for Renee's work situation. I'm just going to tell Adam what I heard really quickly. Holistic healing. I don't know why I've heard that. I think she's got to get into. Actually, I think this is what's going to actually happen. Her work situation is going to change. I feel like whatever's happening with her work situation now is because she is being called to do something different and being called to work one-on-one with people. And I don't know why this holistic, herbalistic shit comes in with that. So I feel like she's got to consort and consult with people to be more holistic, help people with and understanding herbs and even psychedelics to a certain degree, like getting to that realm. I feel like she's being called to. So I feel like she might be in a juxtaposition right now in her life that's she's being pulled away, from go figure, Gemini season, right? But I really, I not saying that because of that. I feel that with her, and she needs to reevaluate and understand. I want to go this direction when it comes to preserving health and helping others with health and holistic and herbs. And I even heard alchemists too, like becoming an alchemist with herbs and oils and such, and making recipes and all that stuff. So like, there's a whole world that's going to be opening up to her on this. So I feel like that she's kind of in betwixt of knowing that calling and understanding how to start that. And but I think once she acknowledges that, it will come very naturally to her of how to begin it. Okay. So I didn't say shit. I said shift. Okay. But yeah, so I feel like, Renee's going through a great, almost like a new paradigm shift in that, so. Okay, Sydney's just kind of confirming and validating what I was saying. Okay, great. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be in the works, Sydney. Okay. So that's what I would tell Renee. And I love you guys. You guys are a special place in my heart too. Okay, Kathleen Prentice, random card pull for Kate. So are you guys paying for other people? I just want to make sure because I want to make sure I'm reading the right person. But thank you for saying for Kate. So I'll be focusing on the Kate energy. Shuffling. Kate, you there? Hey, Mom, what are you saying? My mom says, wow. What do you say wow about, Mom? Yes, my mother's in the room. My mother's in the room all the time, every week. My mother supports everything I do. So I'm like, Mommy, what did you say wow to, Mommy? My dad also is, my mom and dad both in the chats. Okay, this is for Kate. I mean, isn't that great? I'm a 42-year-old man and I have my parents show up for my lives. That's pretty darn cool, isn't it? All right. Okay. What time is it? 7:12. I'm gonna shut down the questions in about 5 minutes. Okay. Who are these people in Kate's life? I don't like it. Okay, Kate's being set up on something. Someone's trying to set Kate up, or someone's trying to, there's like a group of people or friends that are trying to set her up, or, I don't like the people. It's a group of 3 people I don't like around her. And so I think that she's got to reevaluate her friendships and reevaluate who she thinks are friends that might not be friends. It feels like there's a male energy in like leading this. So I think that, she might have had an ex or something like that that's kind of trying to get her friends against her or something. Or, yeah. There's a social disruptance and there's a transformation. It's a death card, so it's a transformation. So she's going through some massive change, and it seems like to be in the friendship. So there's a lot of friends. There's going to be some death of some friendships. It might be an ex or a male energy in her life that's kind of creating this opposition for her or trying to pin people against her. And so the great thing is it's a Wheel of Fortune card. So all this is just a reflection of change, that she's cycling out older friendships or older people in her lives that don't need to be there any longer, and she's going to find a great community of helpful people. I feel like this male energy needs to just be settled and out of her life once and for good. Okay, so if these people are family, if it feels like friendship to me, but it could be family, just these three people trying to set her up or sabotage or gossip about her. There's one male energy that's kind of rounding them up in a sense, and she just needs to understand who her friends are around her right now and not tolerate it and disconnect from it, because she's going to be starting a new cycle that, you know, in a sense of purging these people and coming into a new group of people and meeting different people. They got to go. These people. So it could also be work relationships. It's just any type of relationship. I just have a blank image and a name and card, so it's hard to get too specific in this context, but that's kind of the generalizations I'm getting with that right now on that. She might say, I don't know though, but she'll find out. I don't feel like Kate's being very observant of this, so she might, if she's hearing this now, she might be like, I don't know, I can't think of anything, but she'll find out. She'll find out. And it'd be something that, and might be surprising to her, or may not be surprising to her, but I just feel like if she's kind of in a haze about understanding this, that'll come to realization. The truth is going to come out on that. Okay, moving on. The Venmo is like very slow here. Okay. Next we have Kathleen. Okay, Sarah Cheney. And we have, what is this? A card pull for Sarah Cheney. Is that crazy? Is that you, Kate? Was that just you? Are we talking about Kate? Because I mean, that there's Kathleen and Kate and Crazy Coco. I'm confused on names, but I'm just reading the name that presented to me. But are you Kate? Yes. Oh, you like the shirt, Eric? Do you? What about the clouds? Okay, just pulling for Sarah. All right. Which is Benjamin. I'm learning. I'm learning. I have to refresh my Four Pentacles definition. Bear with me 1 second. My eyes, my sultry bedroom eyes, is that they call them? Let me just, I have to, because Four Pentacles, I'm forgetting. Okay, no wonder why. Okay, gotcha. Okay. Let me interpret it in the spread, though. Jai. There's some scattered energy around you, Sarah, but not bad. Okay. I feel like this is a new beginning for ideology and thought process. Why am I closing my iPad? Because I need to see the questions. They're saying there's going to be a lot of different opportunities thrown your way. And I'm going to say this quite frankly. But they're saying that you might be still like reserving that type of... either your skill sets, your emotions, probably still reserved. There's a reluctance, I would say, of kind of jumping into this like kind of abundant energy, or reluctance of jumping into this new change and this new start in a sense. But there is that new start, and you'll be picking up on this. But I think you just got to let go of the reluctance and like holding on, preserving, and even if it's relationships, if it's money, it's just you might be preserving too much and holding on too much that and also maybe too focused on the material gain on things in a sense, that you just go with the flow in that sense. And I'm saying to you to go with the flow because you know what the flow is. You know what it is. So I'm saying for you to go with the flow because you know what it is. I don't tell people to go with the flow if they don't know what the fuck it is. But you know what it is. And so getting back into that flow of just being open and not really holding on any longer because of material gains in a sense. And so, and I think that, taking your time on this is a great idea, but I think that, they're saying you feel cornered too on things. Like you feel cornered, like you're like pushed in a corner a little bit. And so they're saying like, that's really not because there's so much coming at you with thoughts and ideas and options. Like that's okay. But it doesn't mean you have to feel cornered in a sense, right? You don't have to feel like you're pushed against the wall. You're not. You still have the free will and the leverage to change the circumstances and to do something else and to maybe attend to multiple things at the same time. They want you to start growing your own herbs. They want you to start growing your own food for some reason. I don't know why they're mentioning this. So maybe like get some fruit trees or some sort of plants and like growing your own stuff. They're talking about doing something of that way and connecting with plants in that sense too. You're another one. I'm hearing herbalist with you as well. Like it's time to start the spiritual expression. I think that's what's coming at from a different angle, what you can do on this, right? And you might be preserving yourself because of physical shit, but saying they want to say now is the time that you start expressing this spiritual journey in that sense. And so starting with maybe, again, planting your own herbs, planting your own foods or whatever that say, getting that essence and working with, plants, the plant life, So similar to what I was saying to the other current, but this is different in the sense of like you're trying to get in the rhythm of the spiritual expression, finding ways of how to be in tune to that. And don't let the fact you feel backed in the corner with ideas prevent you from doing it. Okay? So, I mean, you're health conscious already, I can feel like, but, there's something about like you growing your own whatever I feel like is going to like inspire something within you. So a lot of times Spirit will advise you to do something more to evoke a specific energy or realization for you, not so much that that's the thing. So, but either way, you'll find joy in it if you did it, because there's always joy behind the evolution of self. Whether you think that you're going to like it or not is irrelevant. No, Spirit doesn't care about that. What your brain thinks. The Spirit doesn't care about what your brain thinks. Your brain is not intuitive. Beth LeSueur. Is now a good time to legalize my divorce? I hope it goes well. 2, I got a friend who I wonder if he lies or can I trust him? I find myself wanting to be quiet when I'm around him. Okay, first thing about the divorce is a good time. Yeah, this is simple. Let me see this with Sarah. Hold on. And I travel so much, so I don't know how we'll keep plants alive, but we'll do. Well, again, don't talk about the traveling so much. It's really all about, you don't have to be there all the time. You can have irrigation. The fact is working with such, right? So it doesn't mean you have to do it right now. We're just talking about the next phase, right, in life. It talks about the fact that you might feel overwhelmed by just different ideas that's preventing you from tapping in. So don't let that excuse, right? You know what I'm saying about like, well, I'm traveling, I can't do that. It's more about the process of such. So about at some point in time, you'll be tapping into that and getting your spiritual expressions in board. So whether or not you actually literally are planting a food, and it could be just working with the plants and stuff, or working with plant foods or herbs in that sense, right? To get yourself in that modality, right? Of, and we've had many readings before, Sarah. So I know what I'm feeling is not off from the path, right? So I'm not blind to your question. So I'm just sensing where you're at right now. And so, based on how our past readings and what I remember from that, I know that this is the universe knocking your doors to say you need to start a spiritual expression. Like I said, didn't I just say don't let excuses hold you back from exploring other options, other ideas? I just said that to you. And you're saying, I can't do this because I've traveled so much. Do you see what I'm saying? So you kind of confirmed what I said in the reading. Don't let other ideas, the fact there's so much to do, prevent you from and holding back from expressing other dynamics. So you kind of confirmed that you've been doing that. Well, I can't do that because I travel too much. Instead of saying, let me find a way to do that. Or, maybe I should work with plants in a different way. You know what I'm saying? So that's the mentality we're talking about, right? And I'm not saying right now to do that. We're saying to consider that because at some point you won't be traveling so much. At some point you'll have more time to kind of nest a little bit and to build a spiritual, modality for yourself, when it comes to work and servicing in that sense. Okay. Well, but that's what we're talking about, my love, right there. You keep softening your energy to all that, but that's what the message is. I can picture your face right now, Sarah. Okay, back to Beth. Just so everyone knows, Sarah. I've had sessions with Sarah before, so I know her before. So I know her because we've had like 3 or 4 sessions or more together. So I've been helping with her evolution. So that was kind of the message from Spirit, and I knew that would be her reaction. So why we said it. So she always makes really good faces when she has a realization. She's like, so I understand that. But much love to you, Sarah, like always. Okay, Beth, yes, now is a good time to legalize the divorce, but when I say now, it's like getting it in gear. There'll be some delays this year. They're saying about February, March, there'll probably be more acceleration legally with that. So probably getting the things started to start the process now about this is good. It's a good idea to do that. And so I definitely think that if you get it started, sure, it probably will be delayed until like, January, February, some nature. But so yes, it's a great thing. I think it'd be great for you emotionally. And I do think that the soon-to-be ex-husband, will go along with it. I definitely don't think he minded the delay of having to deal with the financials, but at this point, I think it's kind of like a given. I think he felt like he's taken as far as he can without even maneuvering with divorce and all that stuff too, on his end. So yes, now would be a great time for that. And the friend you could trust, not really. Not that they're malicious in their intentions, that you can't trust them. They're just odd. They're just not reliable, right? They're inconsistent. So I feel like the inconsistency with this person makes them not trustworthy. But I tend to say with people, you shouldn't be putting trust in people anyways. If you trust yourself to find people who have the same morality as you and the same essence as you, then you wouldn't have to trust somebody. You'll just be around people who don't do the things that you don't do. So you wouldn't have to think about it. So you want to start finding people that match you better. This person is just odd. Another oddball in the picture is this person. Not reliable, distracted, I heard takes advantage of situations. So not reliable. No. I actually would advise you to not continue to be around this individual. Okay, Jai. Continue to work on the side with finances and investments. Right. Should help my mother retire early if successful, but going in the right direction. Also wanted to ask about the love life. Have been working on myself. Why do you see anything positive coming in? Yes, you're going in the right direction financially. I just want you to reevaluate the mission to help your mom retire. That's sweet, but you have your life to fulfill. She'll retire and be fine, but let her retire on her own time, okay? I don't want you to make that a goal. Sorry to sound, and look, I'm a mama's boy, but my mom is going to retire when she wants to retire, and anyway I can help her to do so, I'm going to do so, right, if she wants to, but I don't want to take the humanity out of my mom, or I don't want to take the power away from my mom to where she feels like she can't do it herself. And so I just want you to reevaluate that goal and just say you would love to support your mom when she does retire, when she's ready to retire. So I think that you should definitely be focused in that regard with that. But yes, I feel you're in the right direction for yourself, 100%. As far as love life is concerned, everything's always positive, right, in a sense. But I think that it's gonna look. Love life is gonna be a struggle for you to a certain degree, Jai. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's gonna be a struggle for a little bit. It's not gonna come easy to you. The problem is because you want to take care of everybody, and that's your issue. And so, when you say working on yourself, you have to understand that you're not really going to be getting that. You got to find the balance of that, because you'll find either women that, can't take advantage of you or going to take advantage of you, or you're going to try to chase women who are, not really looking to be taken care of. And so I need you to understand that you got to find the balance of wanting to take care of everybody, and understand how you need to be taken care of. And so you need to be taken care of in the sense of you do need someone to appreciate you. You need people to, show up for you and to mingle with you and to, and to react to you. And it's not about you taking care of everybody. That's getting in the way. That's just making your love life challenging. I think you need to lead in a sense of you're doing what you're doing because this is where your heart's at for yourself, but understanding the type of match that you need in that sense. This is why it's difficult. So that's the type of work you should be doing. So it's always positive. It just appears to me for some reason it's going to be taking time for you to latch onto this. And, it could take a year or 2 years until you latch onto a serious relationship. It's there, but it's taking time because of that. I don't feel like you're a dating type anyways. I feel like when you meet someone, you're going to meet them and you're going to marry them. So you might be having a lot of like not good dating experiences. That's only because I feel like when you meet the person, you meet that one person and you get married. So that's kind of how it's aligning for me. So it doesn't mean you're not in the right direction. I just think dating would be wasting your time, or it's like your spirit is preventing you from being taken advantage of. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely want you to consider this. And so, if you want to be dating and have random, relationships, then you can possibly do that and attract that right now. But part of your soul's like, well, I'm going to learn more about what I need about the balance, and then when I find it, I'm going to latch on to marriage. So it might seem like you're having a bad, trajectory with that, but you're not. You're just kind of learning for yourself instead of learning through crappy relationships. I want you to see it in that context. This way your heart knows that when it's time and it happens. Okay. So it feels like about a year or two that where it like really does happen in that sense for you in serious relationships, but it's up to you if you want to have casual relationships in between that. It's on you, But again, let your mom be a woman that she is, and you take care of her when she needs to be taken care of. And when she's ready to retire and she retires, then you assist the ways that can make things easy for her to show appreciation. I want you to do it because you're showing appreciation for her, not because you're trying to take care of her. Okay? So some people might envy you, Jai, because you might just fall into a relationship. Because I feel marriage might come your way in 2 years. I feel like in 2 years you'll find marriage or find that marriage partner. So it's there for you. But please understand that you're not being like the general population who has to keep going in and out of dating relationships to find it. Right? Like they say that the best things come with time, or They say that when you give time and take time on things, it's that you have the best results on things. So that's kind of what you're doing. So when you understand that perspective, then you understand how you're going through your love experience. Because I'm sure you can watch relationships around you, how they just come and go, with people who are in relationships. Michelle de Villiers, I hope I'm saying that correctly. What will bring the most prosperity at this time? Let me see about Jerry quick. With the finances, do you see more taking off for me? Like, I guess, is there anything you could expand for that part? I've been in a weird path. There's progress. But, Jai, you have to understand that is a path. The path is weird, right? The path is always, life is a waveform, right? This is a waveform. There's like ups and downs in a waveform. That's called movement. If things are going in one tone, it would be flatlined. That's what being dead is, flatlined, right? So life has movements, and there's a wave to a movement. So that means there's ups and downs. How we define the downs is important. Oh, I don't like the down moment. Nothing's happening now. It's like, well, that's a recalibration moment. That's a redefining moment. So understand that if you're having a little down tick, understand what you need to do the down tick. You should be in sync in the ups and downs. I'm having a peak. Okay, now it's slowing down. Let's prepare for the next up. That's how it should be in our experience of life. So you're never going to have a moment of like this. And sometimes they will go and they'll plateau for a little bit and then they continue the movement. But it should always be in an upward incline, meaning that every down is higher than the last down as it's going up in that wavelength progress. So please understand, you're here to assess your trajectory. So things are in a weird state because you're in a downward slope. That should be a time of realization, a time of a preparation, a time of creation. So it's the intellect that you need to understand that you need to be having about this, not so much about the outcome. The outcome, your path is already set with finances. Like when I first had a question for you, and that came up to me without you telling me, like that's your path, and you'll be great in investments and so forth. But there's learning curves of that, as every major businessman has had, and millionaire and billionaires have had failed businesses. They've had their up, down, and ticks, and that failed business launched a huge business, right? That's part of the process. So I just want you to understand that the thought process that you have right now is part of the process, is the point, and that you are still in the right trajectory. So you're experiencing and you're learning through these ups and the downs of your wavelength of life. And so you don't want a flatlined energy. That's dead. There's no movement to that. Okay, so I need to help you with the perception of what's going on, not so much about what you specifically need to do, because you already know that, and you'll figure more of that out about what you need to do about dealing with finances and investments. That's all the learning curve that you're in, anyways. So I just want to help to encourage you to have a better mindset about that and understand how life really functions with that wavelength, in the sense you understand, okay, when a downtick, let's restudy, let's rebrand, let's refocus. So I'm prepared for the next uptick in life. Okay. That's very important to people understand this in their lives, because every time people have a downtick, they're like, this isn't supposed to be. I'm supposed to be happy and content all the time. No, that's flatlining. That's flatlining. When you understand the ebbs and flows, the waves of life, there's so many different metaphors that we use. But yeah. Been volatile in my financial part of my life, But yes, it's volatile right now, Jai, because it's the mindset we said before about you trying to take care of everybody. This is teaching you to preserve your own finances, to look for yourself. You know what I'm saying? How to preserve it for yourself, to be more for self-focused when it comes to your finances. That's the point of the lesson that's happening here with that. That's a learning curve. So it's having to focus. If you think about this, your situation is having to really focus in on your finances, really focus in on the parameters of such, and things going haywire. That needs to happen so you can be more focused and more well-versed. You can't learn without the challenge. Right? And so please see this as such, as this haywire energy. See it as that. And you'll understand what the message is behind it, what you need to learn in the process to become a better investor, to be better with finances for yourself, but also to help others and teach others with that as well. But the mindset of having to take care of everybody is getting in the way of your perception of what's happening with your current financial state. That was what I was saying in the beginning. So you change that mindset, you'll see things more clearly about how things are structuring right now with your finances, and you'll understand the issue, and you'll have the solution in no time. Your intellect will be clear. That's why I was hitting you emotionally with that. Okay, this question is a little vague. What will bring you the most prosperity at this time? I don't know. This question is very odd, because it'd be nice to know in which area you're referring to, because prosperity is so vague, and I know we think financial prosperity, but there could also be so many different levels of that. But I'll just kind of go based on the generalization of that. So I can only be as specific on a generalization as I possibly can. Let me see what comes with that. I just see things differently with these questions. I feel like there's always prosperity around in life, so it's hard for me to get into that mindset, but I will, because there's always prosperity. There's always things evolving for you. Let me see if it's a mindset or if there's something specific. I just heard upselling for some reason. Upselling. So you might be selling yourself short right now. So it's kind of like the message I said previously about your value. So it's that message was for you, but it really is upselling what you're doing and upselling that what you're actually doing. What is this here? Where my energy is best suited? Maybe focus and attention. Oh, upselling yourself. I feel like the message before, obviously this is you, Michelle. The message before we're saying, about ask for promotion, increasing value, increasing your rates. I feel like that's a mindset that you need to be focusing on, is that upselling, increasing the value. So they're saying that's kind of where you're maybe not focusing on the most in that sense. So this is more mindset, less physical things you have to do. Because I think, again, as I was just talking to Jai, it's definitely sensing to me that, again, you guys know what to do. You guys are competent in that sense. So I feel like, Michelle, you're competent in the sense of kind of structuring things and being very regimented in that sense. So that's not the problem. The problem is that when you're not focusing on increasing the value and upselling, then you're losing scope of what to do. Does that make sense? So when you actually are focusing on increasing the value, upselling, and expanding in that sense clientele, or expanding who you're working for and working with, then you'll know what to do from that point of view. The problem is you're not at that point of view. You're still trying to find something new from the old point of view, and it's blocking you, right? So I think that once you recognize this, and I just heard, let me see how I can place this, being more diverse. I don't know what that means, or diverse with people or something like that. So if it's a clientele, then maybe you're expanding a clientele that's more diverse, or working for a company that has a more of a well-versed perspective on things or something. That could just be like an additional right now of being well versed of people or clientele, or working for a company that's more well versed in clientele people, because I think the essence of energy you need to be around is by a diversity of people, right? So that's going to help you, even if that's just through your social life in a sense. So that's very important to me, is that you'll have to include that in your life. And the diversity of people can help you also think outside the box too. Oh, the technical slump, that's just a result. Look, when there's a retrograde, there's technical issues, right? Or there's a technical slump in a sense, or reworkings of such. So again, very similar to Jai, these are conditional manifestations to learn more about these slumps, right? To learn more about how to kind of maneuver around certain situations that could potentially happen in the future, right? So I really feel like you're kind of maybe putting too much emphasis on that and not thinking on the broader picture and broader clientele. So this is a spiritual part of life. Sometimes spirit will throw a wrench in your mix, guys, to get you to like stop and to look around for a moment. It's the collective message too. So Michelle, your question is very in tune to even the opening, the opening collective reading actually. That spirit sometimes will give you tough love. They'll throw a wrench in the mix and be like, okay, we're going to stall this down for a minute because you're going in the wrong direction. Like you want to start reevaluating these parameters. So then when you start increasing, expanding your clientele and have more of a diverse perspective, you have the technicalities to support it, to resolve it. And be glad that you did, right? Imagine there were issues with your electricity, but you didn't know it. But then the electricity goes out before like a major snow-in or something like that, right? And so it's like, oh my gosh, why did my electricity go out? What's happening here? And you try to fix it, and then it gets fixed. And then right after that, you get snowed in for a month. Like, oh my God, thank God the electrical problem happened now, so I was prepared now for the being snowed in, right? So, well, this needs more evaluation, Michelle. I would have to really consult with you on this, right? So this is like a short question. This will require a whole session of a read. So to get into the technicals, I don't have the time to do that on this format. But what you're asking would require a game plan strategy for me to look at every detail and so forth. So we're just being generalized about the essence and the energy and the reasonings of such. So it require an actual session. I'm not trying to be a salesman, but to dive in deeper and be more specific for you. Okay. So guys, you asking questions. Remember, they're simple questions, right? So I don't have the time, of course, go into a full 45-minute session to lay down the specifics. That's what real sessions are for. We're going to guide you generally on a general question in that sense. So hopefully that'll get you in the mindset, and that mindset will give you the specifics of such. Okay. I have 4 more left, and then I'm going to close these down. So if Nina, if you can just make a brief announcement that their questions are being shut down. Yeah, so Michelle, resonate with that information, right? What I said in this context, and then if you meditate on that, it'll settle into your subconscious. Spirit will teach you. Right. That's what I was saying too, Iggy. Right. Think of the bigger box. So that's good. Good kind of pull from what I was saying. That's good. Lisa Brumel, a card pull. Oh, Sydney, bye, Sydney. Good night, love. Where you going so soon? Sydney, where's she going? Where's Sydney going? Aw, my little my salesman. Yeah, it's a lot of some of these questions require like a really in-depth read, and it's not even just being psychic. Like I've helped people on strategy, business strategy. And what do I know about business strategy? Well, let's see. I've been working remotely for 12 years and making a business out of being a psychic. Let's think about that for a moment. So what do I know about business? Just a little bit. I was a composer for TV and film that I fell into and managed on my own in my 20s and early 30s. What do I know about business? Okay. Yeah, do a long goodbye, Sydney. Okay, this is for Lisa. Hi. Okay, this is for Lisa. I just want to see this real quick. Yes, expanding the diversity of people. Yes, 100%. Not doing it yourself, increasing your value, all that. Yeah. All right, for Lisa. Okay, my love. There's a fine line between caring too much and completely abandoning things too. Okay, so you need to understand your threshold on whether you're caring too much or you're completely abandoning things. Like you got to find the balance of that. Because that isn't the solution when things are difficult, is to completely dive in 100% or to completely walk away and completely abandon either. This extreme way of going about things is causing imbalance, but also unhappiness, and could potentially be causing strife in certain situations. So I think that you need to be aware of this so you can understand that you don't necessarily have to be so extreme or abrupt in your decision-making processes when it comes to situations with the relationships, that you can find a middle ground. You can engage and help and support, but also detach a little bit too, and not catch everything with them. You know what I'm saying? And not carry everything for everybody. So finding the fine line between that and understanding that you can still be apart, but also take a step back is going to help you in your relationships, especially with work too. I'm feeling. And I think that that's kind of the mission for you in this nature, because that simple message will really kind of expand in so many different ways and in so many different dynamics and so many different, expressions, that it's time for you to recognize what you can really give and what you don't need to be giving, and just finding a happy balance to really express yourself fully in relationships, right? Because you're saying it's been a lot of push and pull, a lot of push and pull. And so, and that's not going to feel good for you either, right? So knowing your own balance when it comes to your emotional, investments in relationships is going to really help you in your relationships, and give you a lot more sense of peace. Because someone can say, "Oh, you always run away from things," but you also dive into things heavily too. You know what I mean? So, that's a little bit of the imbalance that could be not so helpful for you in that sense. And so they're saying to be focusing on that right now is going to really benefit your relationships and bring a lot of resolution to relationships. And you might call them compromise, but it wouldn't be so much a compromise as you're working with people who are working with you. So you're meeting in more of a middle ground. All right. That's a message from your guides. Elizabeth Odom. I'm not good with objects, guys. My engagement ring disappeared last week. I have torn my house, but will I ever see it again, or should I let it go? I'm horrible with objects. Objects don't have a spirit. So I'm 50-50. And I know when I'm going to tap into it and find it, because I can retrace the steps. I've done it massively when someone had just lost something. I was able to do it in that moment. But if it's been time, I'm horrible with objects. I can give advice on this if you lost your wedding ring. Perhaps the losing of your wedding ring is an indication that you're losing an aspect of yourself in your marriage. And you're losing at some part of your marriage. So you might want to look at what the symbology really means for you. It's not so much about the object. So you might be put in a position right now with your marriage. Should I actually, should I deal with this issue with my marriage, or should I let it go? Or do I need to stick around and tolerate these things in my marriage, or should I let it go? So there's some little bit of a hesitation in your marriage that you might want to address. I'm not saying it's major, but it just might be. I feel like there's still like a little bit of a unanswered, a little bit of an opposition, or that's not being addressed within your marriage, which is why I think you're experiencing the loss of a wedding ring. And it's also giving you the perspective of, how much do you actually appreciate this marriage? And because obviously that's what the symbol of the wedding ring is, right? So let's think about, do you really appreciate, how much you appreciate this marriage, and do you need to be appreciating it more? Or the things in this marriage that you're losing, that you're not getting, that you need to speak up about. Potentially, I feel like, now I've always helped people find things to remanifest it because of a mindset. So I've had successes in that when people's lost things. So I can't tell you where it is, but I can tell you if you change this mindset and resolve it, you'll find the ring. So resolve that within yourself and find the appreciation of the marriage that you might be lacking, or make the decision within yourself and saying that, I'm not getting these things, and so it's time for me to do something else. Make a decision on how you're feeling about something that's not being addressed, that you feel like you might be losing out on. Then guess what? That ring's going to pop up. So again, I'm not good at finding locations of objects. I know my skill sets, but I also know what I'm not good at. That's because objects don't have a spirit or a soul to connect to. But I can definitely tell you why it's missing and what you can do to get it back. And I've been successful in that, so I'm very confident in that. Because I had one person that she lost her jewelry or something like that. But, you know, I was writing the situation that it was attached to, and I said, just being seen again and appreciating it again. And like, it was a different circumstance than you, and she found it the next day after 2 weeks. So, guys, the questions are closed. FYI, questions are closed. So there's still ones coming in because I have to know my bandwidth. So they're closed down. And Nina, can you announce that? Because I know I'm on a delay too. So if you can just announce it. Christy Ray's card pull. Christy Razi? Is it Razi or Razy? Or Raze? Am I saying it correctly? Razi or... Okay, this card pull, and we gotta, for time's sake, because I do get tired being on these lights too, guys. These lights get to be very rosy. So okay, you spelled it out. Doesn't mean it helps me. Is it rosy or rouge or rouge? Doesn't matter. I'll just call you Christy. I know, my love, that the spelling didn't help. But I said it's ruse or rosy. If it matters to have fun, you can like spell it like it Razi, okay? Okay. I'm like, let's do the dictionary. You know how they do it in the dictionary to do the pronunciation? Razi. Okay. All right. That's another thing I'm not so great at. Names. I forget them. I mispronounce them. That's because I'm so focused on reading energy. I'm like, you know, names are so impersonal to me, but it, you know, so I'm always like reading the energy, and so I'm like not so focused on the name a lot of times. Okay. I don't like this card pull. It's too... I need Kirsty, do me something for a minute to help me for time's sake. Put a question in your mind, or put some sort of idea where you want to be guided in your mind, so it can come up in the cards or some point, a message, because it's too scattered in general. I don't like the cards being pulled, so it means that you're kind of all over the place. Hi, Evo. Welcome aboard. You know, fashionably late, but we love it. So do that in your mind, Chrissy. Scott Reck, Chris, I know, right? Chris Cruz. Which is funny, people used to call me Chris a lot. Got it. All right. Thank you, Christy. I feel like you projected better energy. Okay. Okay. Not many people get the Magician card. Normal people don't get the Magician card, FYI. But alongside was the Emperor card, right? And then 4 Cups, Solitude, 4 Swords in reversed. So the message is here. Let me be very clear. Oof. You need to understand the power of what you want. And when I'm saying want, I'm not talking about conditional things. I'm talking about experience and life expression. They're saying you're being a little too rigid. And I think that there's so many ideas in your mind, and like you have a very expressive, imaginative mind and a very expansive mind, that somehow you're trying to like lock it down, but you're not locking it down. So you're trying to be very regimented, kind of very strict about how you do things, and being very orthodox, and like, but I should be doing this. Like you're not letting yourself be outside the box, thinking wise. And they want you to solidify what you want, and like what you're really wanting to do, and what you want to express in that sense, and find that peace. And this is making you feel finicky. So I think even the read of saying, I'm telling you, project something for I got a finicky vibe even with the card pull, right? So you might want to like get out of this finicky stage, bring down this power, because the Magician cards means you have the power to create and to, you really have the power to maneuver and change circumstances. Like when you get the Magician card, like when you change your mind, fucking shit happens. Shit happens. I think you're actually fearing that, my love. I think that's why you haven't been so open to that. I think you fear that, you know the power of that. You can make great change. You might be fearing change at the moment. Because when you make a decision to just do something, it's going to go. It's going to just, you have that power. You have the magician energy. So I would say, take consideration. It's okay. You're being rigid for a reason because you're not taking, I would say, caution or taking flight on what you really want to do. So be more in consideration of the direction, of the choices of what you're wanting. Like, own it. I want this because of, and I want to express this because of. Like, be more clear about this, because the hesitation is that you haven't fully realized the path of what you want to go. So that's the fear. Like, I don't want to go. I can't go on a half-realized idea. I can't go on a half-realized trajectory. I can't just, like, crap things out. I got to be certain. So now's the time to take consideration and find that peace. The Four of Wands is all about centering the self, right? And finding the peace and the actual truth of yourself. The self-reflection card was just staring at me the whole time I was trying to do your cards. So really kind of look within, as cheesy as that sounds. So right now it's time to be a hermit right now, to go into yourself and understand like where you really want to move forward in life in that sense, generally speaking, even how you want to move forward in current relationships, and get that into full realization. Then what's going to happen is the fear will go away. You wouldn't be so rigid. You'll be more certain and you'll be shifting shit. Like you'll be like, this got to go and it flies away. This got to come in, bring it in. You have that power. And you have that power because you evolved in your previous incarnations to be able to do so. So in a previous incarnation, you were a Wiccan or Wicca. You did Wiccan. You're Wiccan. Is that the person that does that? So you've done a lot of the occult in previous incarnations. You understand what it's like to move energy. You've evolved in that sense with your spiritual journey. So in this incarnation, it's like the pressure is on in this incarnation to where you have to understand the pressure of option, the pressure of choice to actually manipulate what you truly want through the options. That's the karma. Okay? So I hope you heard also the final part. That's big. I'm trying to reawaken your incarnation experience so you understand you came from a previous incarnation of massive occult, not in the bad way, but like understanding witchcraft and Wiccan energy, to where you have that evolution of spirit of able to maneuver and to be that magician energy to have things happen quick, So you fear your own power in that sense. Now that would be for you. Not it wouldn't be everybody. Not everyone fears their own power. Some people are trying to get power. You in your sense, you're actually fearing your own power because you can get power to move shit quick. Okay, last but definitely not least, AC Chico. One question. I had someone pop and say that I stopped talking with a year ago. We have an intense energetic tie. What do you pick up about this person and their intentions by reaching out? Some things just happen. I don't get there's any significance of them reaching out because sometimes he just connect for weird things. I think it's more of a reason of why he reached out to you in your life, right? And that's what I want to read. The message they're saying is not every connection you have is a sustainable connection. Not every connection that you have is also a connection that's healthy. Not every connection that feels good is good. And sometimes there are connections that are connected based on negative aspects and needy aspects, and we call it sometimes trauma bonding too. This is a moment in your life, AC, that you need to understand that you need to reevaluate your connections. Why connections come in, why they go out. What is the meaning of such? So it's really about the connections. This specific person just feels needy right now and is going through the past and making connections because of feeling needy and having some resentment, or not resentment, but some regret. And so it just feels like, hey, we haven't connected in a while. And so you're available to take that kind of connection. And so I want you to really kind of identify the impulsiveness of connections and understanding what connections need to really be and why they come in and why they need to go and what type of connections you need to be experiencing in your life. This is a lesson about connection. So like I said before, not every connection that feels good is good. Because we also connect on a lot of similar traumas. We connect on similar voids and deprivations. And we call those connections codependent, right? So not that I'm saying this is a codependent dynamic, but there is some level of codependency in certain connections because it meets a need or fulfills a void in us. And I think that's what this connection really thrives on. You guys were able to fill each other's voids. Not that that's inherently totally bad, but if it becomes codependent that you're not waking up to how to get that for yourselves and expanding the selves, then it could be. But in this case, it feels like there's that codependent energy connection that's like meeting a void that they want you to evaluate this. That doesn't mean the person's bad. It doesn't mean you're bad. It's just you want to understand the premise of why things connect. And I think that will help you to understand more the totality of the lesson, not so much about the specific person. Because I wasn't getting much about the specific person. I feel like sometimes people just reach out and connect at certain times, and it didn't feel like it was any type of magical information. But I think you're at a space of your life where you're evaluating connections in your life, and this is the point of that. And sometimes a past circumstance can get you in a better perspective of such too, to realize how much you've grown from it and also what you expect now from it. Okay? And so, but that's indicative of change, actually, and it's indicative of that you will be creating better connections for yourself. So I would say all these little challenges or these little kind of, negative reflections or indications that you're actually embarking on a newer version. So that's very positive for me in that sense. But see it for what the essence. It's like what I said at the very beginning. Don't try to analyze the condition itself. Look at the essence of it. The meaning of it. Not so much the actual situation, but the meaning of it. Then you'll understand what I'm saying, and that will bring some great change for you in that sense. Okay, and I'm a little tired. I was tired before I started. I'm kind of tired now, and so that concludes the reading segment of here. So I hope you guys understand that there's been a lot of consistent even within the readings, a lot of consistent messages here. Excuse me. About you guys have the power. You guys really want to take the power and extract the power from these circumstances, that these circumstances have messages behind them. What are the messages? Not hyper-focusing on the circumstances. And this is the week that's going to bring irritation to a lot of people who are maybe, been putting emphasis on things that are too encumbering, and maybe they don't need to be so much emphasis. So Spirit's like, stop focusing on this, stop worrying about this. So you might have some irritations in that way, that you might be have so much anxiety about things you should have anxiety on, that Spirit's like, get over it, right? Or you might just feel like a peace or an ease, or just have different realizations come to you. For me, this week has been like kind of experiencing things I haven't experienced in a while. I just woke up with, like I told you in the beginning of this live, a sleep paralysis I had. It was a weird dream. Like I was dreaming that I was in the same spot I was sleeping in, but awake. But I was awake in the dream, having sleep paralysis in the dream. But then waking up in that dream in the same position, it was just strange, right? So I think I'm realizing more about myself of where I'm growing. So this splitting of Gemini season, and especially the new moon in Gemini, will be revealing to you that duality. So you'll start seeing the part of yourself that you haven't resolved will be coming very, I would say, obvious, or you'll start realizing a different version of self that you're growing into, new experiences, right? So let's take advantage of this time. All right? And so I appreciate every single one of you guys sticking along, coming along, staying. I don't know what I was going to say. I appreciate every one of you guys coming and being a part of the live and creating a community in the chat. I see you guys support each other in the chat. I think that's beautiful. And so I love to see you guys supporting each other. I think that's awesome. That's another reason why I want to do this, to create a community for people to come and mingle and to also help each other through hard times as well. It's another reason that I'm here, is for that as well. And to have accessibility for you guys too. And so of course, as you know, I'm here every Thursday. And those of you who don't know, want to book a private session with me, a one-on-one session. I offer life readings, which, entails a whole lot of things: career, finance, relationship, past life regression, subconscious processing, trauma processing, healing, all that stuff. You can see that all on my website. And also I do mediumship sessions for those who are ready to connect with someone who's crossed over. And remember, I said ready. You have to be ready to do that. And also an intuition builder session to help you develop your own psychic awareness and mediumistic abilities and all that great stuff. And so you can find that at scottcruzpm.com. The link is in the description below. Thank you to my wonderful Mom Nina for handling and moderating you guys. You're all very beautiful souls, as you know, and with beautiful souls and with beautiful people, there comes a lot of passion. And a lot of times the Spirit wants me to bring some passion and some support behind. So sometimes the message can be very loud and clear, but that's support. That's an energy that's protecting and supporting you, right? So when I'm coming with passion, that's conviction. And with that conviction, that's support. And you guys have that strong foundation through that energy, and that's why I bring it. That's why I have also the passion for myself and what I've overcome and what I've learned and what I've experienced to be true. So that's where the passion comes from. So don't take it as harsh love, tough love, even though I said that. Take it as there's a huge support of energy behind each and every one of you guys, and that is my mission in life: is to be a current of that, a force of that support and realization and truth. And I'll keep going until I can't expand it no more. And so I've just begun in that mission, okay? Even though I've been doing it for 12 years, but I'm still begun in that mission. All right? So if you guys, see you guys next week. And again, tune in every Monday to Leading Out Loud. It streams on this platform too. I don't really market or advertise it, but it's doing very well. The show, it's growing, it's expanding. We're finding the voice of the show, so you can see us every Monday too. And those of you who also know Christopher Techie and Serious Joy and Namaste Today tomorrow at I think 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock Pacific time. I think 5 or 6 on Serious Joy. You can mingle in that chat there and build a community of people there. And if not, I'll see you next Thursday. And so, as fitting with the topic, as I always say, in closing, as this was supposed to be your affirmation, you're supposed to chat and put in the chat in the comment section, is that you're all the gods and goddesses of your own myth. What do you want to create? Much love and good night.
He said it looked like a Devin or David.
David is his name. It's been so spot on.
And I don't know if you put it in the side of your end table or not. You said like something in your end table that you this too.
My God, we're crazy.
Yeah, he's saying hi, baby girl. He's saying hi, baby girl. And is there significance with like image of a rose at all?
He would
Does that
always
make sense?
give me a rose.
Okay, so he's like doing one now. He's saying to work with some sort of like vibrational machine, somehow a way to work with like machinery and vibration.
I work with horses, and there's actually some magnawave therapy that's vibrational.
Tell me something that he told you that came true.
Everything he's predicted has come true.
I just don't see it.
So he doesn't have cancer?
It's very possible.
Allow yourself to hear yourself. Allow yourself to feel yourself. Allow yourself to talk to yourself. Allow yourself to respond to yourself. That's looking within.
You might encounter negative aspects of self, but that's a freeing experience.
Because then they start realizing that they can't think outside the box. And I say, if you can't think outside the box, then who's the stupid one here?
There's a reason why we're on this timeline. There's a reason why we've chosen to be in this awakening. I say we're going through a spiritual awakening.
So I don't just come on here and talk bull and repeat. I'm living this stuff.